The Supreme Court is hearing arguments today on two cases that bring affirmative action into question.
The cases center around student admissions at Harvard University and the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill. A conservative group called the Students for Fair Admissions argues Harvard's admissions policies discriminate against Asian students. The same group is challenging UNC's policies, saying they give preference to Black, Hispanic, and Native American applicants over white and Asian students.
Evan Mandery is with us now. He's a professor at John Jay College of Criminal Justice. Professor Mandery, thank you so much for being with us. You know, as we were discussing during the break, this is certainly not the first time affirmative action has come up in front of the courts, and not even in front of the Supreme Court. So tell us what precedents exist that might affect these rulings.
Right. There's not that much you need to know, but you need to know a little. There was a 1978 decision which concerned admissions at UC Davis's medical school, and that's the foundational precedent in this area. And it said, it specifically mentioned Harvard's admissions process. It said quotas were unconstitutional, but that race could be considered a plus factor in admissions. It's basically that decision that the Supreme Court is considering overturning.
That decision from 74.
Yeah, there was a second decision called Grutter versus Bollinger, which was about the University of Michigan, which made Bakke, which was a very splintered decision, a clearer precedent.
Okay.
When you look at the makeup of the Supreme Court, what's likely to happen? And what are some of the negative implications? Because as we were talking before the break, you have people that get admitted because of legacy, because of athleticism,
because of donations.
Because they give.
Yeah.
And now we're talking obviously about race, which can be a controversial and very sensitive subject matter. But when you look at that court and the breakup 6-3, what's likely the outcome? I
mean, it's overwhelmingly likely / certain that the Supreme Court is going to end race-based affirmative action, as certain as it was that they were going to reverse Roe v. Wade. And to what you said, this is very personal for me. I'm a professor at CUNY, the City University of New York. Both my parents went there, but I went to Harvard. And when you look at the system in its totality, Harvard's position is complicated by the fact that it does a tremendous amount of affirmative action for affluent whites.
Right.
All of these mechanisms, legacy preference for people who give, children of people who give a lot of money, and athletes are skewed overwhelmingly in favor of affluent whites. And that is going to make or break this case.
Is that going to be brought up? Is that exact point going to be placed in front of the justices?
I was listening to the, I was listening to the oral argument on my way over, and Neil Gorsuch confronted Harvard's attorneys with that very question, and they can't answer it because it's a fundamental hypocrisy. And the tragedy is that there is a compelling case for race-based affirmative action. Many of these institutions benefited from slavery. Many of them have engaged in specific residential discriminatory practices, which which work to the detriment of families of color, and that should be correctable.
And I think, just to highlight that, James Meredith recently was celebrated for integrating Ole Miss 60 years ago. It wasn't that long ago that you had people that looked like me who weren't even allowed into some of these institutions.
And there's no way you can argue that there is an educational sort of playing field right now of equal opportunity across this country. There's no way anyone can argue that. But I do want to point out that the Pew Research Center says that 74% of Americans oppose affirmative action, right? So they argue that although designed to level the playing field, affirmative action is actually leading to discrimination. So how can college admissions balance, diversity, which is now what their task is going to be moving forward, if, as you say, it seems that affirmative action will be struck by the courts? Colleges and universities will still have an interest in maintaining diversity. How will they do that moving forward?
In that same poll, almost as many people say they do support the goal of diversity in the classroom. So it matters a lot how you ask that question. There's nothing in the Constitution that benefits affirmative action on the basis of socioeconomic status. But how about we stop affirmatively discriminating against people on the basis of socioeconomic status? So elite colleges are overwhelmingly the province of the rich. The average income of a family at Harvard, this is almost 10-year-old data, was over $500,000. More students at elite college come from the top 1% than the bottom 60%. Meanwhile, down the block where I teach, about 60% of our students come from families making $30,000 a year.
Right.
And to your point, this isn't ancient history. These institutions were legally segregatory, in recent American history. We're not anywhere near fixing this.
What can you say, though, about the argument that says, look, by the time we get to the university level, students, the affirmative action, in other words, needs to start a lot earlier. By the time we get to this point, you can't expect students that have been discriminated against in their educations for so long to be able to play catch up.
I'm glad you asked that question. And that's something that Harvard says a lot. And there's a Yale former dean of admissions who was asked what percentage of Yale applicants could do the work. And he responds that 98% of them could do the work. And the overwhelming majority of students that I teach at CUNY also could do the work. So it's a myth. And one of the most, I would say, racist things that elite colleges have done is perpetuate the notion that there are objective qualifications that people fail to meet. The SAT is largely a predictor of wealth. High school average is a far better predictor of college success. And there is no universe in which prowess at lacrosse has anything to do with whether you could do it well
I agree.
in college.
I went to Yale, and there were plenty of athletes who struggled in lots of. I'm not saying that there weren't plenty of athletes who were brilliant and who did great, but there were plenty of athletes who struggled. So, we know that there are other criteria that get you into these colleges.
This isn't a personal argument.
Yeah.
We all have friends, but this is a numbers game, and the numbers work systematically to the disadvantage of poor people of color.
And when you look at the types of stories that we constantly cover, it always comes back to lack of access, lack of education, and it's still a privilege just to have a 4-year degree, because I think, and help me out, is it like 50%? Less than that have 4-year degrees?
Oh, of Americans, way less than that.
So,
Yeah.
got to get ahead some kind of way, but.
Absolutely. Well, Professor Evan Mandery, thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate your insight.
Thank you.